All right, what I have here is a 1978 Bally Kiss pinball machine. I'm at Toy Galaxy in Duluth, Minnesota. Basically, I'm not quite sure what the problem is. There's a little funky modification there with wires. Gonna just start going through the power supply first. If you look, the playfield's in excellent shape. It needs just cleaning, but there's no visible wear at all.
There appears to be a severed hand in
Yes, there is a hand that we have to worry. I think that's stopping the power.
That might be custom piece.
But we're gonna start tearing into this. And if you look at the backlash is in excellent shape. It's been personally signed by Gene and Paul, as you can see. Unfortunately, Ace and Peter got dissed again. And the backlash is beautiful. No flaking at all. Just a quality backlash. So, I had to take this Bally Kiss pinball machine home to work on this because there's this funky little terminal thing that they did. I'm not really quite sure, but they tapped off this rectifier board. If you look at the rectifier board, it's got some burnt spots on it. I mean, there's some cookage here. And so I'm going to take this jury rig off, and I'm going to go through the board and check all the voltages, see what's going on with this, and look in the back at they had actually soldered these yellow wires on, jury rig this too. So we'll see what happens with this, because there was no power at this time. And as I was going through the fuses, looks like here that the E4 fuse was blown already. I checked it, so I think it's kind of good to know what fuse was blown, because it could lead us to a problem that is possibly going on maybe in the driver boards. One of the things I'm looking at here is this one looks awfully cooked, whatever that one is. That one really looks cooked. There's a lot of brownage in that, so this will be interesting once I start working on that. So what was going on is I cut this little jury rig terminal board off. What they were trying to do, if you take a look, they attached these 4 wires to the back of this rectifier board, okay? Now, I saw this problem on Pin Ninja. Yay, Pin Ninja! And where smoke, look at that char in there, and that the wire in here, what they did, if you look really closely, you can see that they actually cut the wires out. And what they did, I think because they thought the wires were weak, they then soldered to the back of the rectifier board. We're going to fix it the right way. I think they're trying to bypass this connector, but we're going to get this fixed the right way. And I got rid of this stupid terminal thing, so the next step is to desolder this little jury rig off the rectifier board. Then I'm going to go through and check everything on the rectifier board, check all the components and check all the runs and make sure everything works well from there. Okay, so I did some checks, and after doing some checking the rectifier and checking resistors here, I found out that this resistor, which goes across this rectifier, which then feeds into this fuse, this resistor is blown. It's reading infinity, and this bridge rectifier is blown, which in turn, I'm thinking, blew this fuse. So the next trick is to replace the bridge rectifier and the fuse, and then see if we can get some power going into this board. And if we take a look at the schematic, maybe that'll be helpful too. You look at this right here, in the schematic here. That is the, I think that's the one. Yeah, it's this one right here. This right here, this fuse is right here. That's blown. That resistor is blown. And this bridge rectifier is blown. So there you go. So what I'm doing now is I've taken all of the plastics off the Kiss pinball machine, because plastics are in really good shape and I don't want to risk them breaking, especially when I have it propped up here. I want to make sure that I take away, if there's any moving stuff around, how that stuff can get broken so easily. I just want to make sure that I don't risk any breakage. Lots of bulbs missing, as you can see, and inside the cabinet, just really overall just dirty. Even there's a little power, the power switch right there. The cabinet overall is pretty filthy. So my plan is to go through and just rewire, clean up everything, and then the speaker wires off here. Lots of junk in here. So the plan is to get the power supply fixed, put the rectifier on, and the fuse on and the resistor on, and we'll see what happens. Great fun little project. I also replaced screws that supported this, so now I can grab this sturdily. So there's screws replaced, but yeah, I did a little bit of cleaning too. Not too bad. I cleaned up a little bit of planking, but it looks way better than it did before. I think this machine's in great shape. So the next step is to go down the back of the play field and test all the solenoids to make sure that nothing's shorted. There's a few things I see already that could be changed, because if these are shorted, they definitely can blow something out. I've also noticed there was a few of these with the diodes off, which helps protect your servo board. So I'm going to go down all the way down the back, check all the diodes, check resistance, make sure that none of the solenoids are shorted. And then also you can tell I'm going to tear apart the drop down assembly, clean that all up. That'll be an easy job to do. And just kind of do a general inspection on things, if I see anything that's shorted, and go from there. But I'm thinking this being bare like that, most likely I need to replace that. So as you can tell, we were able to replace the bad bridge rectifier there, and went in. It's a little bit bigger than normal, but it fits right up against this metal for the heatsink. We were also able to replace this resistor, and then our next move is to go ahead and attach it with the heatsink here, and then we're going to fire it up, see if we got voltage. So we were able to test the power supply, the rectifier board. We have the proper voltages coming out, and the next step is we are going to repin this connector because it's pretty cooked. We're going to change everything on it and replace this whole thing. So we're moving forward. Progress. What we've done is this little jury rig that was put on the original power supply, we're going to fix correctly. We determined where that connected to. We're going to replace this whole connector. We're going to repin everything. And we also figured out where this went to. This went to the general illumination of the back glass. So we'll get that fixed and get this connector redone. The next thing that we're doing is we're modifying the solenoid board to increase connections. That requires us to rewire and make some signals stronger than previous. So modification of the solenoid board is next. So now we fully have hooked up the board here, and we hooked up the solenoid. We disconnected a whole bunch of other things though. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna shut the power off, and let's take a look at our little the most important light that there is. Hold on a second. Power's off. Let's watch our little light. Let's see how many flashes we get. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Woohoo! That means that the MPU supposedly is working. So now we got to work on the playfield and other things. We are in a great directions. Awesome. Okay, so part of the whole original fun is they did this modification with this terminal board. So what I've done is I've hooked everything up to where it should be, except for this infamous little modification he did. And I'm thinking it goes here to the power supply. So I'm going to have to end up redoing a jack. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. The trick is to make sure everything goes to the right place. So that is my next job. Other than that, everything else is hooked up here, ready to go. Now I just got to repin that thing and then we'll be done. All right, so I rewired the plugs, put them in place, went through the whole thing. Here's the whole machine. We're going to turn the power on. Let's look for the 7 flashes. Ooh, good pickup. All right, machine starts. So we hit start. Okay, it's doing what it should do. Now, but the problem is that none of the solenoids are working at all. Everything else is working. The drop downs, all this. But none of the solenoids are working at this time. So none of them are, so that kind of makes it a little bit easier. But all the switches seem to be working. The spinner works. Spinner works. Gene works here. Okay. Okay. We even have specials, and the knocker works. So there you go. Same player shoots again, and the bonus works. Looks like the display is working too. Okay, that's where we're at. Next thing to troubleshoot is the solenoid. So here's the deal. The Kiss machine, the thumper bumpers are not working. The flippers are working though. Okay? So none of the thumper bumpers are working in the slingshot. So I took a look at the schematic. And if, I don't know if I can get a good view here, but if we look at the schematic here, you'll notice that the bumpers, the flippers, left and right flipper are right here. But before that or after that is a fuse, amp 1A 5B, okay? So now if we take a look at what is after this, look at this. We got thumper bumpers, we got left and right slingshots, okay? So from the fuse forward is a fuse, okay? So we're going to check that fuse and see what's going on. What we can do. If we check this fuse, which is the problem here, and we go across the fuse, okay, and we got continuity, okay? Now, watch this. Let's check against the body of the fuse holder. Nothing. Nothing on the body. But if we go back to the fuse, so there's something wrong with that fuse body. So if we go over here, nothing. But if we go back to the fuse, there you go. And this white wire here leads all the way to all these white wires, these thumper bumper wires. So the white is the common, and these are the switch wires. You may have already known that, and you're smarter than me. But this is where all the power comes to fire the thumper bumpers on all of them, this white wire. So I'm going to clean up this fuse holder, and let's see what happens. As I flipped the machine around and I decided to spread this apart, and I'm just gonna Dremel it a little bit. I'm gonna give it a little bit of filing down to see if I can save the actual holder for now, and we'll see what happens when I hook this back up. We're gonna do a test now. We put the leads in place. Hopefully I can do this with one hand, and as you can see, it now reads outside the case. So dremeling that seems to have worked. And we're going to hook it back up and see what happens. So just really on a quick short note, what was deceiving about this was if when I touched the leads on the fuse, it tested good. When I put the leads on the solder joints, they're bad. So what I did, as you saw before, is I opened these leads up and I cleared them up and I dremeled them because even though the fuse looked good, it wasn't making connection to this piece. So that was... It was kind of interesting, a little bit cool. Also, there is a wire, the light wire here. I'm gonna solder that light wire on and make sure that works there okay. And then we're gonna turn it on and fire up and see what happens. All right, so I put the machine up with the playfield showing. I'm gonna power it up and then do a solenoid self test here. First, we power it up, and it does the typical power up kind of thing. 1, 2, 3, blah 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 blah. Okay, then it chimes. Oh, did you hear that? That was the sound of a solenoid firing. So now if you look here, you have this little red button. The first button is a light test. As you can see how the lights flash. I'm going to see if the one that I fixed flash. Because I just soldered one. And now I'm going to do the solenoid test. Listen to this. Oh, that's the digital. Here's the solenoid. They all work. So now we're going to shut it down, lay the playfield down, and I'm going to play a game. So here we go. I powered up the game. I'm going to hit the start button. Let's see what happens here. Ball kicks out, which is super awesome. So we're going to pull. Let's see what happens so far. I don't have any rubbers changed or anything. I'm just trying to play the game. Oh, lights change. All right. There we go. There's this bonus. Kick it out again. Now this machine is not adjusted at all. Notice the pop bumpers are switching like they should. They can switch from Dean to Paul to whoever. And everything seems to be working so far. Okay, I don't have any rubbers on or anything like that. I'm just trying to get it to see if it'll work. All right, so the next challenge is the KISS logo. We got to figure out why that isn't logoing. All right, Making great progress. So what we're going to do first is we're going to test the KISS display light driver board first. We're checking it. It's DC voltage. And we're going to go and test point 1, which should be plus 5 volts. If we take a look, we got 5 volts. Okay, so the voltage going in is good. Next, we get to take a look at other fun stuff. Looking at this board, there's no visible burn marks or anything like that. What I am going to do is I'm going to clean these connectors really well first. And then I'm going to take a look at the other connectors just to see if I see any loose connections. And then take it from there and see if that'll fix it. So this is the special lamp driver card that fires up the KISS logo, as you can see. Oh, by the way, I'm watching Gene from KISS. Yeah. And anyway, the logo wasn't working correctly, so when I was troubleshooting it, it looked to me like U1 was the most likely the culprit. So what I did is I desoldered, but as I desoldered, this had been worked on before, eyelets came out. So when the eyelets come out, you really don't have the conductivity that you want on it. So what I ended up doing, and I did reflow all the connectors in that too. But what I did end up doing, I just ended up ordering a whole new board, and the whole new board is actually an upgrade board. It just was so beat, these eyelets were. And then here's the chip for it too. So got a new board coming, and in the meantime, what I'm going to do is just end up just cleaning it and getting it ready. So really, this is a great example how Magic Erase works so well. Look at it right here. Look how nice and clean it is. Okay? Look at over here. See all this dirt in here? This was exactly how this side was, but with Magic Erase took all of that up. You got to be a little bit careful. Magic Erase can take too much up, but we'll do a comparison and I'll tape that side here in a moment. Okay. So here's the KISS pinball machine. Everything's lit on it. Everything's put together. The only thing's missing is the special KISS light board. But other than that, the play field's cleaned. Everything seems to work at this time. The only thing is this letter is not lighting, and I'm not quite sure what it is. The signal comes to this one, and then it lights this one. So the signal into here is not present. I'm going to take a look at that later. So, but other than that, KISS pinball machine is alive. Nagging little annoyances that's taking place is that this S light and this S light aren't lighting, and also the special light, as I have it going through the light cycle test. This light actually feeds this light. Now it is registering when you hit it, registering the S, but the lights aren't coming on either one of them. And I rang out the cables, and the cables are fine. I can rang out J3 and J2. The signals are there. So what I'm thinking, it's a problem on the light board. I'm not gonna fix it. I've done so much already that's working well. We're going to leave it now. Maybe in the future it could be fixed, but I figure we're in a good place with it. It could just be something that we're aware of, and maybe in the future could get it fixed if need be. And so as you can see, this solenoid, the flipper for the solenoid, this is bad news. So we're going to replace it with this new one. These seem to be pretty reliable. I've had good luck with these. Got it from Marco, and we'll figure this out. Alright, so we got the new solenoid in place. Let's do a test. Looks fine. A little hummer, that's the old one. This one's good. So flipper replacement is done. Okay, so one of the repairs that we did also is these little shoes were broke on here for the kick out for the slingshots. So we got brand new shoes, so we get some awesome kick out action. So now it what you do. So that's pretty cool. Yep. That's a little thing that Bally did. So this is the new Altec board, and we will be putting it into the lamp driver for the KISS letters. And it's nice they give us posts, and they give us new screws too, so we'll be able to mount that. This board in, I try to make it so that the screws would be mounted to the. If you look here, the circuit board has a ground on it here, but the screws wouldn't line up with this particular game. So what I did is I took a look at the original, and where the original was mounted, if you take a look here, it mounted here. And none of these had ground. If you look at them, none of them were used for ground. The ground actually goes into the board through the plug. So I'm just going to skip that. I'm not going to worry about it, and I'm just going to screw it in here, and that should be fine. knowing that the previous one wasn't grounded. All right, so we have the KISS auxiliary controller card in place. Everything's hooked up. We're gonna close the cabinet, and we're gonna see if we can rock and roll all night and party every day with the scrolling KISS. Here we go. It's booting. Yes, there it is. KISS. K-I-S-S. Oh, that's awesome. So we're going to play a game because how this works is when you play the game, as you hit each corresponding letter, the light up will light. So let's hit start. So it goes off. We hit play. Let's see what letter it goes to. Gonna go to the K and then the I. Let's see. Playing this one-handed, which is pretty amazing in itself. So right now it has K, and hey, look at it, got the other S. So it's doing exactly what it should do. It dropped this S down. The KI is lit. That's why KI and the S. This is a burnt out. The lamp driver is having a problem. That's why this is not lit. So it is working. The auxiliary lamp driver is working as the machine is hitting the corresponding letters. We have, there you go with the I. So there you go. So here we go. This whole video went from death to 15, 20 years of storage to being a full-fledged KISS pinball machine, which is amazing. And the next thing to do is get it back to the owner and watch his eyes light up on this beautiful moment. Here we are pulling up at Toy Galaxy here in Duluth, Minnesota to drop off the KISS pinball machine for Rob. So we're gonna put the back glass on this pinball machine, Toy Galaxy in Duluth. As you can see, it's in excellent shape. Come on, Rob, help me. This is your machine. So drop that into place. And then, just so you know, there's keys and there's a lock here. I'm still working on how exactly that will close. It'll still stay in place, but there's something with that. I didn't research how to do that. So, okay, we're gonna plug this in. We are getting power.
I'll just, for now, put it through the back right here. And not a good day to start your day when you don't have any power and.
Start it, you just push the button underneath. Okay, here we go. Let's see.
First time in 20 years.
Oh.
Look at that, wow.
I know, it's gonna do its thing.
It is bright.
Here we go.
We've gone back in time.
I know, let's add some games. So I'll show you what you do for adding games. There you go, now hit start. That's the button right there.
Gosh, that even works.
You gotta play now.
Momentous. All right, I probably bought this in 96, maybe 97. It might have been 98, so it's we're going on about 20 years.
And you've never even heard it play.
No.
That's all right, you gotta warm up. Oh, it just comes out nice.
Does Paul light up?
No, Paul stays the same. Paul stays
No, on the down thing. Yeah, he does.
Isn't it something? I thought this game was a lot harder because of all this bull crap, but it's not. So it's set for three or five balls. So you keep playing if you want.
Five, okay.
For five balls. You can reset it by using dip switches. By doing the switches. But yeah, so every time you knock down like a K or anything, KISS lights up.
Sorry, I put
Like
my...
it'll light up. So if you hit the SS, the K, and that,
I see.
it'll light up appropriate to that. If you go down the middle when this light is on, it takes out a whole roll. It lights up a whole roll that are bonus. That's all bonus. Yeah.